Hey friends, it's Cami here, and it's a cool, well, really a cold night to me here in Alabama and in January, and I thought it would be a great time to make some taco soup. So I'm going to show you how I make it. Now, taco soup is one of those things that you can really change it up how you want to. Very versatile recipe, but it always turns out good. And one thing to keep in mind when you're making taco soup is if your family tends to like things on the milder side, which my family does, or if your family likes things that are a little bit more spicy, and then you can adapt the recipe to however you want. Now, I am making a basic taco soup tonight, but I have been known to add rotel, and I've been adding on extra spices, which before this is over I may end up doing, but I wanted to just kind of show you the basic recipe, and then you can go from there and make it your own. And I've already browned up my hamburger meat. I use ground chuck. You can use ground beef, ground round, sirloin, ground chuck, turkey, whatever you want to use, you can use. I happen to prefer to use ground chuck. Now, my recipe calls for 1 to 2 pounds of ground chuck or ground meat. I think I've got about maybe 1.5 pounds, give or take. You don't have to be exact with this recipe, which is one of the great things. Now, you can go ahead if you want to, and you can add your onion while you're browning the meat, but honestly I was browning the meat with another recipe also, so I didn't add the onions. So I'm going to add those first so that they have the longest cooking time. Not that it'll be that much more, but it'll be a little bit longer. Oh, I meant to add also, you could also, if you wanted to, you could add bell pepper to this, other peppers. But in the original recipe, it does call for the these chopped green chilies. But you could also add the other bell peppers if you wanted to. The things that you will need to make this recipe, and I will also write it down in the comments, is besides your ground meat, you'll also need a small to medium onion, some kidney beans. I happen to have home canned. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that I do have home canned right now, but that's why this is a great recipe to pull things from your pantry. You'll also need some shoe-peg corn. If you don't have shoe-peg corn or can't find shoe-peg corn, you could just use regular whole kernel corn. And you'll also need either like a Mexican corn, this is called Southwest corn, or if you have your own home canned corn with peppers in it, you could use that. Like I said before, you'll need the chopped green chilies, which you find this in the Mexican the Mexican ingredients in your supermarket. Tonight I have petite diced tomatoes. You could use stewed tomatoes. You could use fresh tomatoes. That would be up to you also. And you'll also need a can of the chili beans. I have the mild chili bean sauce, the kidney beans in chili sauce for mine tonight. And also I forgot, y'all, gosh, you can tell I hadn't done this in a few months. You'll need taco seasoning, which usually I'll have my own made, but I don't, so I just have a package. And you'll need a package of just the ranch dressing mix. And that's basically it. After we get all of these ingredients compiled, along with, we'll also add some water, we'll taste it and see if there's anything that we want to do to add to it. And we'll just go from there. Okay, y'all ready to get started? Let's get started. Okay, so we're over here at the stove, And I've just got this on about medium heat, about a 5. And I'm going to go ahead and get my onion in. And I just used, I had a yellow onion, but you could use a white onion, you know, just whatever you got. And I'm going to go ahead and get that incorporated in with my meat, so it can go ahead and start cooking up real good. And once we've got that going, then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and get my beans in. And like I said, this is just a can of the chili beans. If you have your own home canned chili beans, of course you could use that, and I hope that I'll have some of my own here soon. I'm going to get that in there going. And don't worry, we will add some liquid. And the good thing about this too is that we're dumping everything in with its juices. You don't have to drain any of these cans, which is really great. We're going to go ahead and we'll pour in our tomatoes. How easy is that? And another good thing, y'all, is that you can put this in your crock pot. So if you're going out in the morning, just go ahead and get this started, and then just put it on low. You'll want to make sure to go ahead and have your meat brown. But you know what a lot of people do is they'll brown a whole bunch of meat at one time, and they'll save it in like pounds. So then all they have to do is just thaw it. Or not even thaw it. You can just go ahead and just put it in your pot for your slow cooker. Now what I'm doing is I'm adding water. And you just kind of got to eyeball this, because you just want to add enough water to cover. Make sure that you have enough in there. Okay? And then add your ranch dressing. And if you don't have this kind of ranch, you can use the off-brand or the store brand or your homemade. All of that will work just fine. Same thing with your taco seasoning. You don't have to have Taco Bell brand. You can have any of the other packages will work fine. If you make your own taco seasoning, which I usually do, then you just use the equivalent of what a package would be. Okay, so we're going to let this cook. Like I said, I've got it on medium, and we're going to let this just cook for a little bit, and then we'll come back and make sure you've got all of your seasoning off of your spoon too. I had some of my ranch. One thing that I do add is I do add a little bit of black pepper. And I do add a little bit of salt. So, now we're just going to let this simmer. I'll put the top on it, and we'll probably let it simmer probably for about 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll taste it, and we'll see if we need to add any other seasonings. But usually this is pretty good. You have so many seasonings packed in your taco mix and your ranch mix that you really don't have to add a whole bunch of other things. But I have been known sometimes to add some garlic powder, or just maybe some cumin. Just depends. But we'll taste it. We're just going to let this simmer, and then when I come back to taste it, then I'll say, come on, let's taste it. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so this has been simmering for about 30 minutes, and I'm going to taste it, see if there's any seasonings that I need to add. I don't think I'll need to. I think this is going to be good to go, but I just want to make sure. If you need more than what this recipe made, you can always just add, you can double it, or you can just add whatever you want to Rosebud. She is crazy. She is crazy about the oven. You can add more corn, you can add more tomatoes, more meat, whatever you want to have a bigger pot. I think that's about perfect. I am going to add a little bit more pepper to it, but we'll just do that as we make our bowls, and that way everybody can add the amount of pepper or salt that they want to. But I don't think it needs anything else. I don't think it needs much more. But anyway, that's supper tonight. Look at that. That's some goodness right there. Anyway, let me plate this up or bowl this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like with the corn muffin that I made with it. If you're interested in seeing the corn muffins, I have that video also that will be coming out about the same time as this one. But it's easy peasy, as they say. Hope y'all enjoyed watching. Y'all please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like in the bowl. Ready? I did want to say also, like in a lot of Mexican food, it's always good to have some toppings. On this you can add sour cream, the shredded cheese of your choice, cilantro, lime, just whatever suits your fancy. This is what I like right there. And there you have it. Add that and a corn muffin, and supper is ready.